Yo, before we start this video, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, right there. Right in the right-hand corner. It's right there. Thank you. Welcome back, Sentinels. Welcome back. Another episode of Black Father Sentinel, where we are changing the narrative of how fathers are depicted as well as discussed in today's society. Got a special guest on the show today, but before we jump right into the topic, let me give you a little breakdown of my man right here. So I call him my son, even though he's not my biological son, but we share a similar upbringing in terms of we grew up without our fathers. Slightly different with me, never saw my father at all in my whole life. His father is actually around, meaning in the same city, but just not as active as he needs to be, right? So a funny short story about him is this. So I was dating his mom. I met him when he was 9 years old. I never forget it. Bald head little guy, like the nicest, way back in the day, the nicest guy. He's going on 22 right now. He was 9 when I met him. So, I'm hanging out with his mom. I'm dating her at the time. And, when me and her tried to hang out with each other, here he comes. You want to play Wii? I'm like, oh my God, here goes this guy again. Now he had 2 games. He had bowling and he had baseball. So of course I would oblige, play the Wii game with him. But I got hip to his game, right? He just was enthused by video games. So what I did, I took him outside of that Wii and I brought over that PlayStation 3. I think it was 3 or 4 at the time. It was the 3. And we began to play Call of Duty. And from there on out, those Call of Duty games, it takes a lot of attention. So I got him out my hair at that time. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you all Jordan Green. How you doing, man?
Hello, I'm good. I'm Jordan. 21, as you said, I'm going on my 22nd birthday on September the 22nd. And a little bit about me, I am going to Clark Atlanta University down in Atlanta, Georgia. I transferred from Concordia University in Mequon, Wisconsin. So it's a complete different environment and more around my people.
No doubt. And I definitely, he's missing out a couple points. He also got a football scholarship, and that was from Concordia University. So we're definitely proud of him at that time. And then he just continued his education now. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to jump right in. So the topic today, I'm just going to talk about in terms of how not having a father affects me as a grown man, and then him, how not having a father, or biological father, I should say, in his life, how it affects him now, at a younger age. Of course, I can remember sometimes like when I was younger, but it's current for him at this moment. So I guess we'll dive right in. Anything you want to share, like right off the bat, that you can remember a time, a situation to where you feel like, you needed your father and, he wasn't there?
I would say a lot of times, I'd say during sports, whenever I just felt left out, with friends, talking to women, or just I needed that extra boost of motivation. I feel like I had nowhere to turn to. I didn't live with my father. My parents were split. It was just, I stayed mostly with my mother and my grandmother. We would go back and forth between their house. So it was just, the connection wasn't there. So it was just a lot of left out, just motivation I needed.
Yeah, no doubt. I can feel that too. I know with me, when I was growing up, I felt the same thing, just feeling left out. All my other friends, they had their dad right there to coach them on and cheer them on and give them that extra boost of motivation that they needed prior to going into the game. The pep talks, the listening to music, all that stuff. So I definitely missed out on that. And then for me, as, a grown man, I just don't have nobody to turn to. I go through different situations with you, your brothers, your sisters, that I just don't know the way. And so I would like to have a father there so I can get his input on, what's the best approach, what's best practice for this specific situation that I'm going through. And, not having that, it tends to have me just, go within the inside. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but I wish I had more of like a blueprint or a model in front of me that I can just, demonstrate to my children. Like, it just makes it a smoother transition in that regard.
It's just something to build off on.
Yep, something to build off on, for sure. Now, was there ever, so I want you to go back, I know that, you ain't going too far back, you're only about to be 22, right? So, was there ever a time that you saw a father figure in your life and you just, it hurted you even that much more, right? So you were in a situation where you saw maybe one of your friends or you was hanging out, maybe a play date, that's what it was called back then, but you know, you just saw them interacting with their father, and you was just like, it just dawned on you, even though you were a little kid, you just like, man, I wish I had something like this.
Yeah, going back to sporting events or like the play dates you said, when I was, I think it had to be in middle school. I forgot what his name was, but I would go over his house. It would be just how he spent time with his father, how they treated them, how much time they spent. Yeah. Going out to sporting events, you know, that people's families bringing them snacks or whatever the case may be, but it would just be me. You know, my mom would do the best she could, but, you know, it would just be me out there. So just having to deal with that.
Yeah. And that's important too, fathers, like just having that manly energy around, right? Like your mom can only do so much. Again, we have similar stories. I grew up with my mom and she did the best she could. Now, I did have my grandfather, like I mentioned to you all before in the first video, as well as he had a prominent grandfather in his life too that, you know, showed him and helped to mold him to be the man that he is today. But it's totally different when you have the person that you walk like, you look like, you talk like, right? He's giving you all the swag that you need because this is your actual dad. So fathers, if you're not active in your child's life, look at this video right here. Like, take heed to this. Like, we are important, right? He's not a father right now, but he can look back and utilize it as a resource, you know, and just figure out, you know, which way to go with his child that he's raising when it comes to that time. So, yeah, man, I can totally relate to all those stories.
And relating back to your grandfather, I have my grandfather's ashes right here on my chest. I wear every day. Rest in peace to my grandfather. He really played a part in giving me and my sister rides to school whenever we needed, supplying food, whatever the case may be. But back then when I was a kid, I would say I was more socially awkward and more introverted, especially within my video games. That's where I mostly lived my life in.
Yeah.
So I just wish that before he passed, I could have conversations like this with him,
no doubt,
and learn his history. But you know, moving forward, I know I have a chance to do this with my father one day. You know, just no bad blood, just waiting on opportunity. That's it.
Yeah.
Just waiting on opportunity.
Yeah. And like you mentioned your grandfather, me as well with my grandfather, just sitting down, talking to him, hanging out. He was definitely doing the same thing, like you just mentioned, taking me back and forth to school, bought my first pair of Jordans. I only got it because everybody on the basketball team was getting it, so he was just there all the time. So he was just that man figure in my life, just showing me the way. And he did a lot for everybody. I'm sure your grandfather did as well in terms of all the young men, all the young men around him. So that's the reason for this YouTube channel, is getting back to those old days fathers where we stick in there, we hang in there, and we raise our children, man, because as you can see, it has a direct effect on their upbringing. And it's funny that he mentioned that he used to be an introvert, which is true, but you couldn't tell that nowadays. Anytime, you know, we have a family gathering or whatever the case may be, he the first one. Yeah, he the first one. Pop up, show everybody love. So he definitely did a total 180, and I'm proud of you in that regard. So I remember those when he was just stay in his room, play his video game. I'm like, Jay, you gotta get out the phone. Yeah, for sure. So he definitely came a long way, man. And so, you know, I got one more question. This one's probably going to, you know, touch home a little bit. It touches home for me as well. And the question that I'm posing here is that I know you mentioned it briefly, but I want you to go into a little bit more of elaborate detail of, you know, how is it going to play out, or what exactly are you looking for? So in terms of mending that relationship, you know, your father wasn't in the picture. My father wasn't in the picture. The question is, do you ever want to go back and mend that and try to like fix that? Or, you know, like you said, there's no bad blood, but what's your feeling? What's your take on that and trying to just put that whole thing back together?
Well, I think that what happened was meant to be, you know, where I think who I made myself today, I think I'd gladly take this than trying to go back and change stuff. Yeah. You know, I don't know where I'd be at today if I could go back and change, or, you know, plus I wasn't even go back in time. I wasn't even that person where I was today to even try to make that connection, to, you know, to change things. So I think for where I am today, I'm blessed to be where I'm at today, and, you know, just waiting on the opportunity.
Yeah.
Just waiting on opportunity. That's all.
No doubt. I think for me, in terms of do I want to mend that relationship, I'm a little older now, right? So we always know that, tomorrow is not promised to us. So me, as I'm getting older, I used to have the same disposition that he has right now in terms of when it happens, it happens. For me, so I'm going to take more of initiative because, like I said, like my story is totally different. Like I don't even know who it can be. And my mom, she gave me a couple names of who it can be. That's not a shot against my mom. I'm not judging her in no type of way. It was just, whatever happened at that time. So I'm going to take those two names, probably hire some type of private investigator or something and see if I can like close that chapter in my life. Because I would like for my children to meet their grandfather. I would like to know, some of the backdrop or history about my other side of the family in terms of like why we do certain things that we do. What's in our blood, what's in our DNA, like he spoke about before, like that history. I just want to get that history of like the other side of where I come from. I know my mom's side, but, I grew up with them my whole life, but I want to see like what else is out there in terms of who I am. So I want to feel like that completion, for lack of a better phrase. So that's just where I'm at with it, man. And then, with you, if you need some help with that in terms of, if you want to take that initiative as opposed to just letting it take place, I can definitely help you with that. And I can definitely, help you with the words to say if you want to start it off or whatever the case may be. So, I definitely want to let you know that I'm here for you, man, for sure, for sure.
I appreciate that. And speaking of opportunity, I know the last event I saw my father was on his wife's birthday. I took me and my sister out to his the dinner. Mm-hmm. And during the dinner, I got to speak to him more and all of that, But I realized that even though I haven't spent as much time with him growing up, I'm still similar to him. I'm still like him in many ways. Because over the last, I'll say past 2 years, I've been taking life seriously, jotting down my life. And then bringing this video to my attention really made me think about the history of my life. So I just want to thank you for that. And I just lost track of what I was talking about. But the dinner. Yeah. Me being similar to my father. I realize I'm similar to him in a lot of ways, which is crazy, even though I haven't spent that much time with him. It's crazy how things work out like that. Right. But I can't believe, like, what else am I going to find out once that connection is stronger? Right. Just waiting on opportunity. That's all.
No doubt. And I'm the same way because I like I said, I never met him at all, never saw him. I don't even know if he got a bald head, he got a beard or whatever the case may be. But just for you raising that to my attention, I think that's absolutely true. I'm probably more like him in more ways than I can ever even believe. And I've never been around him at all. So that's the crazy part about it. It's just that curiosity sometimes just kills me, right? Because that's why I want to take that initiative to try to find him and just close that chapter because I want to see what this is all about. And I think it's just, being unbalanced in my life in terms of just having a mom. And again, she did the best that she could, but it causes a unbalance, right? It took two people to make a child. So obviously it takes two people to raise a child, right? You need that man energy, that yin, that yang, that positive, that negative, whatever the case may be. But you have to have that balance, man. So, man, that's deep. Like I said, I was going to touch my heart a little bit, but I'm definitely going to close that chapter. So, before we go, is there anything that you want to let the people know in terms of, just your feelings, or you want to talk to the fathers out there that's probably not doing their thing or probably doing their thing? You want to let them know anything or however you feel at the end of this?
Before I get into that, I want to let you know that I became an area supervisor at Summerfest.
Yeah, let's go.
So that's a big blessing. And to speak on all the fathers, just know, as kids, we go through stuff too that we might not want to take that initiative. Sometimes we're just waiting on you because that's all we know how to do. Is just wait. Is wait on the opportunity. But getting older, like you said, is just you gotta learn to take that initiative for yourself. Right. So whenever I get that chance, or whenever I do get the chance, I do take it. But it's far few in between. Yeah. So whenever it comes, just take it. Because it's a sign from somewhere.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
But questions for you is, what qualities do you see in myself that got me the supervisor job over at Summerfest? For y'all that don't know, Marquise is the first person that gave me my first job at Summerfest 2016. I remember when I first got there, I was following him everywhere I go. How do I do this, do that, all that? And I think just 2 years ago, I became the crew leader. And then after 1 year, it's area supervisor.
Let's go.
So what qualities do you think I possess that got me to this point?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was going to wrap the video up with just thanking you for who you are. So I want to tell you, because you probably don't know, like what you have, the characteristics in terms of like your discipline. So what I mean by that, I watched this man get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go work out consistently, right? He's a very consistent person. He does the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and that's how he becomes great. So if we give it a little backdrop, let you in on that. When he first started playing football, he was on like all trash teams, and I know he felt bad about it. It could have been easy for him to just give up. You know, we're talking about from when he first started to NCSL, the team that he was playing on, all the way up till he got to Nicolay High School where he played football. But he kept going with it. And so
even at Concordia, man, barely getting any play time. But it's just, I think, me transferring to Clark is another opportunity for me to just go even harder.
Yeah, and I like the way you think about that. So not only do you possess the discipline, I talk about that in a lot of videos. Discipline is doing what you have to do when you don't want to do it, or doing what you have to do when you have to do it, even when you don't feel like it. So I watch him get up every day, and I know that schedule for Summerfest. Like by the time you get off, you poop. You've been walking around in the summer heat all day. You ready to come home, go to sleep, but you still got stuff to do and get right back up in the morning to do it all over again. But he consistently does it. Like he does the same thing over and over and over. And that's one thing. He didn't see that from me because I probably was playing around or whatever the case may be. I am a disciplined person nowadays, but for him to just have that ability and that characteristic quite naturally, that's definitely a blessing, man. Like you already ahead of the game. As well as the way that you think, you always stay optimistic about situations, right? And I think that's one of the things that they saw from you at Summerfest. Your discipline, you're gonna get the job done, right? And it's not by any means necessary. And you also have the ability to talk to people, right? It's one thing to tell a person, go do this, boom, boom, boom. But he knows how to talk to people, explain to them why we're doing the task that we're doing, right? How we're going to complete it, and just continue to upbuild people, right? Every day, people, when they go to work, they don't quite naturally feel like working. So it's up to you to continue to motivate them like you do your little brother, like you do your little sister, right? Come on, y'all stop doing that. Y'all can do better than this. Come on. No, we can do this. Let's go, Stu. Easy money. That's how you talk to them. So just having that ability to lead, they saw that in you. Everybody wants to be a leader, but everybody doesn't have the characteristics to be a leader. Like you have to put yourself second as opposed to knowing that you're the leader. A lot of people think because you're the leader, I got to go first. I'm the man and this, that. No, it's about taking the back burner. You let them appear to be that person that, you know, the leader, whatever the case may be. I already got the title. I already getting paid the money. I don't need to, you know, say all this stuff to you all. I don't have to talk down to y'all or belittle y'all because y'all underneath me. So I think they saw a lot of characteristics in you, man. So, you know, it's not an easy task, number one. And then being able to lead people, man, you're ahead of the game on that, man, for sure.
Life is about people.
Oh, yeah.
So when you learn how, like you said, to learn how to speak to people, like I don't speak to people like I'm their boss. Like you have to do what I say. I ask people like, this is what we need to do. This is what I need from you. If you need help, I got you. Yeah. Boom, let's break. Yeah. You know, it really makes life easier when you create good connections with people. Yeah. And that's really it.
So if we look at life just as a business, life is a people person business. My brother talks about that all the time. It's about building those connections because you never know. You might have to go back and talk to this person who's in a different position that you were the leader of or the supervisor of, and now they're in a higher position per se, and you may need them. So you don't want to burn those bridges, man. So
that's right.
For sure. But as you all can see, wrapping up another video of Black Father Sentinel. I'd like to thank you, Jay, for coming to the show, man.
Well, thank you for your platform, letting me speak.
Absolutely.
One last thing I want to say is y'all support y'all people. This is some of my guys' merch, Nothing to Something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can guess you can get it on his social media sites. I can't think of right off the top of my head.
I'll leave it in the description of the video. Gotcha. So I'll write it in there. Y'all go to the link. Y'all support that merch. For sure.
And this is another way of me supporting you by doing this video with you for your channel. So just support your people.
For sure. And there you have it. So fathers, come on, stand up. Y'all saw how important it is coming from the younger generation of being actively involved, coming from me, older generation, actively involved. Fathers, let's stand up. Let's do what we have to do. Like Father Cindy.